And okay, cool. Um, hey Erin, I'm Christian. It's so lovely to meet you, and I hope your day has been good up to this point.
Thank you very
Um,
much. It's been great.
that's good to hear. Just letting you know, I do have a tendency to fiddle around with my hands, so please don't think
hmm
that is like a response to anything that you've said or anything like that. I just don't want, I'm not really aware of these motions, and I just want to let you know that this is something that I could do unintentionally. Like, is that okay?
All good, all good.
Fantastic. So I understand that you are here to change a behavior that you're not totally agreeing with. Does that sound sort of
hmm
familiar? All right,
Yeah, yeah.
fantastic. Well, before we begin, I'll like to address some obligations that I have for you as my client regarding
hmm
confidentiality. Is that okay?
All good.
Great. Well, pretty much the confidentiality agreement refers to the matters that we talk about in these sessions, whereby I'm not allowed to speak about what we've spoken about or discussed to anyone else that isn't yourself. So, ethically, I'm bound by these conditions, and I could get into some serious trouble if I fail to uphold these obligations. However, there
Mhm.
are some instances where I am required to break confidentiality, and these are if there begins to be a risk to your or anyone else's health or safety. If I'm ordered by the courts to provide information about our time together, and I may also discuss our time with my supervisor if I feel as though there's any issues or anything that we speak about that exceeds my expertise to give professional advice. However, if
Mhm.
I do discuss anything with my supervisor, your identity will be kept anonymous. So that's the confidentiality agreement. Do you have any questions about that at all?
Oh, no, I'm good, thanks.
Okay, beautiful. So now I'd like to begin with our session. So during this portion, I'll ask you a series of questions regarding your issue, but I do want you to know, we are trying to ensure your comfortability at all costs. So please do let me know if you feel unsafe, uncomfortable, or unsure of any of the topics that we may talk about today. Um, you're able to dictate the pace of the session. If there are any questions that you feel is too difficult to address, you're able to not answer, and we can try touch base at another time. Or you can even, if you need some time to think or anything, we can simply just pause, take as long as you want, and then we can come back to these questions. And in regards to speed, if you feel like I'm moving too fast, or we could pick up the pace and progress a little bit faster, that is something that um, you are able to communicate with me so I can facilitate your needs. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm good, I'm good.
Beautiful. So I am going to begin asking you some questions about your behavioral change. So what brings you here today?
I'm here because I would like to change like some of my sleep habits. Like I feel
Yep.
like I sleep a little bit too late, so if I don't really get enough sleep the next day, basically.
Um, if I am looking down, I'm not listening. I'm just jotting some notes down. So you said that you were sleeping late. Um, how is this behavior um maladaptive to you? As in, how is this behavior something that you want to change?
Well, basically, like since I sleep so late, like the next day when I have school or work, I don't get enough sleep, so I don't like perform the best that I can, and I also like some have some issues with my focus as well.
Yeah. So from the sounds of things, you feel as though because you're sleeping late and the quality of your sleep isn't the standard that you want, it's getting in the way of um some some serious real life what's the word? Real life obligations, sort of say. So it's getting in the way of your school, your work, and you are losing focus.
Mhm.
Um, how does how do you feel after a poor night's sleep?
I feel like very tired and I feel like quite grumpy. So I don't really want to like go on with my day. Like I wake up and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I wish I could just go back to sleep instead of going to school or work.
Okay. Um, so what led you to um begin what led you to start sleeping later and not getting that quality of sleep that you wish to get?
I guess it's because like since the school workload has been like going up, I guess I have to spend more time like doing schoolwork. But the thing is, before I go to sleep, I usually want to like scroll on my phone to like wind down, and I
Yeah,
tend to like go on my phone for a bit too long.
yeah. Yeah, I do feel in this day and age that technology has been getting in the way of a lot of the things that we're
Mm-hmm.
trying to do during our regular life. So
Mm-hmm.
I understand
Mm-hmm.
that it is hard to avoid that sort of stimulus before you try to go to bed. What eventually happened from sleeping this late? Do you feel as though um this is a problem that has been going on for a while now?
Oh yeah, it's been going on for like ever since high school.
Ever since high school. Okay. Ever, ever since high school. Was there a time that you recall where your sleeping pattern was something that you were happy with?
I guess it would be like during the holidays when I have like just no schoolwork at all and I could just sleep and wake up whenever I wanted. So I would still just scroll on my phone, but I
Yeah,
didn't care when I woke up.
understand. So from what you're telling me, you sound very busy. You have a lot on your plate, and you do want to
Mm-hmm.
improve your sleep in order to
Mm-hmm.
be able to juggle and manage all these different activities that you're doing, whether it's school, work, so you can focus better and actually achieve or progress through these things a at a rate that you're sort of more satisfied with. Does that sound
Mm-hmm.
accurate in a way?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so what did you want to get out of today's session, or what did you want your end goal to be?
I guess it would be like to figure out a way where I could like just take my sleeping time back by like an hour would be like nice, honestly.
Yeah. And what did you want to get out of today's session in particular?
Um, Probably figure out how I would get there, honestly. Yeah.
So figure out, methods or a strategy that
Yep.
is catered to you, so you're able to do this yourself without any help. Does
Mm-hmm.
that sound
Mm-hmm.
accurate?
Yeah, yeah. That would be great. Yes.
Okay, beautiful. So from the sounds of what you've told me, from the things that you've told me, you are eager to sort of begin your behavioral change. Obviously, issues like this doesn't happen overnight. Obviously, these
Mm-hmm.
things take time, and it's difficult to it's difficult to habitually change what you're doing if you've been doing it so long. Like you said, you've been doing this since high school. So I would like to possibly do a goal setting framework with you. It's called the Smart Goal Setting Framework. Um, and basically, this framework provides a helpful structure for your goal that you're working towards. It allows the goal to be realistic, doesn't fall outside of your scope of ability to be able to actually partake in this goal. There are a lot of instances where people might set goals, but the goals might be too difficult or too big for them to actually achieve in their desired amount of time. So this framework um, is called the SMART goal setting. Have you heard of this before?
Oh, no, I have not.
So SMART is basically an acronym that we use for the actual framework. I've got it here. My printer is not working, so I've had to manually write it down, but it is something that isn't too hard to set up, so you can do it yourself.
Hmm.
But basically, it looks like this. You can see
Mm.
that.
Yep, thank you.
So as I said, SMART is an acronym. So the S stands for specific, which refers to a goal that we set that is specifically catered to what you want to achieve. So if I give an example, say I wanted to improve my athletic ability, say I wanted to play more sport, instead of setting the goal like, oh, I'm just going to I just want to improve my overall skill, I could I could employ it more specifically by saying I'm going to exercise for 2 to 3 hours a day for 4 days in the week. That is a bit
Hmm.
more to the point. It's less general, and that's pretty much what the S stands for. Is that
Hmm.
okay? Do I have to? Please let me know if I need to clarify anything as well.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Okay, so the M in SMART stands for measurable. Um, this
Hmm.
this part of the acronym gives us the ability to judge when the goal has been um, reached and how far away we are from reaching it. Um,
Hmm.
so it's I guess kind of ties in to the S in that sense. It is linear. We don't have to organize a SMART goal linear in a linear fashion, but I guess the measurability helps us to sort of gauge where you're at with that goal and how far you are from achieving it. The A
Hmm.
stands for achievable. And for me, this is sort of the most important aspect, I'd like to think. So this pretty much means when we do set your goal and what you want to achieve, it is something that isn't too difficult for you to do. It's easily able to be carried out. You are it, it it falls into your current situation and um how well within your own ability that you are able to achieve your goal.
Hmm.
We don't want to make a goal that is too tedious for you, that is going to get in the way of the things that you want to achieve. It's catered to your current situation so that you can um, easily carry this out and achieve what you want to achieve.
Hmm.
The R stands for relevant or relevancy. We want to set a goal that's relevant to us. We sort of it's tailored towards the direction that you want to really go in your everyday life. Um, if the goal doesn't relate to us or doesn't relate to you specifically, then it doesn't really matter to us. You might not take as much accountability for it, and then we might begin to struggle with things like motivation or confidence when it comes to actually carrying out this goal. Um, and T, lastly, stands for timely. So it's important that we do set a time frame for you to achieve this goal. It's good to have a time frame because it sort of just gives us an indication of how fast we do want to progress and achieve. So if you do hit that, if we do fall into the time constraints that you are beginning to feel more motivated and confident with your own ability. Um, this time frame can be on a weekly basis, monthly, multiple months, or it even could be for a year's worth of work. But
Hmm.
typically, if we set one goal for the whole year, you might not feel as, I guess, proud of what you've achieved. You might be like, I don't,
Hmm.
it is something that we are proud of, obviously, in
Hmm.
achieving
Hmm.
goals. But I think the best way to handle behaviors that we aren't happy with too much is to set little goals at a time, so you can start banking in those little wins throughout your day, really
Hmm.
to just build up that confidence. So, is there any further clarification that you want me to go over about the SMART goal before we begin?
I just wanted to check with you for the measurable one. Is that basically just a measure of like progress?
Um, I would say that it's a measure of like when it's a sort of like an indication of if you have accomplished your goal, I guess. Like
Hmm.
say
I see. Okay.
I wanted to run twice a week. If I've only ran once in that week, I can sort of tell that like I haven't really achieved the goal that I'm sort of striving
I see.
towards.
I see. I see. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
basically it sort of frames it numerically, although it doesn't have to be numerical. It just gives it a more of an objective feel to the goal.
Mhm.
Is there anything
Thanks.
else you want me to clarify?
Oh, no, that's all. That's good.
Okay, so before I go through this worksheet with you, I just want to have a gauge on how confident and how motivated you are to begin this change and actually carry it out. So let's start
Hmm.
with,
Hmm.
I guess we'll start with confidence. It's pretty self-explanatory. Um, from a scale of 1 through to 10, let's say, one being you're not confident at all, you don't believe in the ability that you possess to actually achieve this goal, and 10 being you're on top of it, you feel like there's nothing that can stop you from achieving this. How confident
Hmm.
would you say you are?
I'd say a solid six.
6. Yep. And how do you feel sitting on a 6 at the moment?
Um, I guess I would like it to be a little bit higher,
Which numerically on that scale, where would you like to sit ideally?
like an eight would be nice. Yes.
Yep. And using the same sort of 1 to 8 scale, 1 to 10 scale, sorry. Where how motivated would you say you are?
Um, I'd say an eight. Yeah, I'm pretty motivated. I do want to
Pretty.
sleep earlier.
I feel like beginning these sessions is a good indication of,
Hmm.
already big, like having sat down with me is a good indication of that you are motivated in changing your
Hmm.
behavior,
Hmm.
which is which is good.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, would you like to increase that 8 further up into the 9s and the 10s, would you say?
I think I'm pretty happy with like an eight. Like for me, an eight is pretty high.
Okay. Okay. Well, now we will move on to the SMART goal.
All right.
So let's move to the S, which is again specific. How would you like to begin? What is a strategy that you might think could be helpful in terms of what you've told me, um, helpful in reaching your goal, specifically speaking, in regarding your sleep, whether it be sleeping earlier in general or maybe getting off, maybe the things or like the things that you do before you go to bed. What is something that you'd like to
Hmm.
target?
I think I'll probably try cutting down like my phone time because like I can't really change my study time. So I'll probably reduce it like from an hour and a half to say an hour or 30 minutes.
Yep. From from sort of from what we were talking about before, you were saying that yeah, technology is a big aspect of
Mm-hmm.
why you're sleeping late, and you sort of deem that your work and your schoolwork sort of takes priority in this sense, which is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So cutting down your technology from, did you say 1.5 to an hour or 30 minutes?
I think I'll just start with 1.5 hours to like an hour at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah. That is obviously something that we can work on or you can work through and either reduce even more if you feel like later on. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think a 30-minute incline in technology is a nice start, and I'm happy that you sort of came to that judgment yourself, which is really good.
Okay,
How
thank
do
you.
you think we can measure this the technology use? What ways can we employ this technique, do you feel?
Uh, like, uh, sorry, can you clarify that again?
Yeah. So how would we begin to measure in the bigger scheme, in the bigger picture, um, your technology use, in terms of can we measure that your goal is actually being accomplished? You said
I
one
think I'll
and a half.
probably, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. You
yeah. I'll
said
probably
that.
like set an alarm,
Yeah.
1.5 hour like alarm, so that like when the time comes, like when the alarm goes, like I'll be able to like I'll put my phone down. Hopefully, if I'm able to put my phone down, then that's probably achieving my goal. Yeah.
Set. Okay. Setting an alarm. Was that setting an alarm for when you should be off your phone, or was that setting an
Yeah.
alarm? Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I'll provide like the timer, I guess.
Yep. Do you feel as though this is sort of achievable for you, like during your daily tasks? I know social media and technology is a big prominent thing in our lives at the moment, and there are people who find it difficult to reduce this sort of variable. Do you feel as though this is achievable for you?
I mean, I'm not really doing much productive stuff on my phone then. So with the
Mm.
alarm, it'll probably be like, yeah. Mm.
Um, and sorry,
Oh, good.
do you feel as though you will set the alarm? Is this going to be an every night, 7 days a week type of um strategy, do you think?
Yeah, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
And do you feel like you can uphold this for most of the week as well?
Mm, debatable. I guess there's gonna be some days where I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I think I deserve to scroll a little bit more. Then
If
I'll
you,
do that,
yep,
I
and
guess.
that's completely like absolutely fine and natural to feel as though that there will be times where um you will scroll more than usual. I just want to make sure that it is something that is um achievable for you. It doesn't have to
Hmm.
be, I guess, every day if you feel as though that could be too much and you do need a bit of screen time.
Hmm.
But you you are sure that this is something that you'd be able to implore in your daily routine.
Yeah, I suppose it'd be like, I don't know, maybe probably 5 out of 7 days a week. I can probably do it. it.
Okay. Um, so from the sounds of things, it sort of does all, this is sort of relating to the relevant aspect of the SMART goal. If it is
Hmm.
a timer that you will set every day or on a 5 to 7 day basis, it does
Hmm.
sound like it is something that is relevant to you and that you are willing to incorporate within your daily
Yep.
tasks. Does that sound
Yep.
accurate?
Yep. Yep.
And how long did you want to maintain this strategy for?
I'll probably keep it for around 3 weeks for now, and then I'll see how I feel about it afterwards. Like if I still feel like it's difficult, then I'll keep it at the s- same timer, I guess.
Yeah,
But if I find that it's easier for me to like keep to the timer, I'll just reduce it down to like 45 minutes, say.
yeah. So you'll review how the SMART goals sort of work for you in three
Hmm.
weeks. And if you're happy with
Yep.
it, you're telling me that you'll maintain this strategy. But if you feel as though you're still sort of sleeping late and not getting that quality amount of sleep, that will increase your focus and the concentration that you have, whether being
Hmm.
at work or at uni, that you will reduce that screen time even further.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, what I've so from what I've gathered, in regarding to working through the SMART goal with you, you've said that you just want to use less technology as your specific goal to be able to sleep
Hmm.
earlier. Um,
Hmm.
we've said that you're going to go from 1.5 hours of technology use to now an hour,
Hmm.
and that will be um, employed through the use of an alarm, which will go off,
Hmm.
which will then point out to when you need to put the phone, laptop, whatever it is, down so you can begin
Yep.
your
Yep.
sleep.
Hmm.
Um, you've said that this is achievable for you and that you're pretty confident in being able to maintain this habit.
Hmm.
And then you've said that you would like to use this strategy for 3 weeks and then
Hmm.
review it after that 3 weeks and
Hmm.
see whether it is effective and you are getting more quality sleep and you're happy with how you're progressing. But if you're not, you said that you will reduce that screen time even further from an hour to maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay, great. Well, um, before we sort of uh, I guess, wrap up the session, so to say, I just
Hmm.
want to gauge gauge where how you're feeling now in terms of that
Hmm.
confidence and motivational scale that we were sort of talking about
Hmm.
earlier.
Hmm. Okay.
Do
Sounds
you
good.
need any clarifications about the scale at all?
No, I don't.
Okay,
No, I don't. It's all good.
no worries. So, from a confidence standpoint, from 1 to 10, how confident are you feeling now?
I'd say, yeah, I do feel like much more confident about achieving my goal because like there's an actual way for me to do it now.
Yeah,
I'd say like a 9.
a 9. So you've went from a 6 to a 9. How do you
Hmm.
feel sitting at a 9 now?
I feel like pretty happy about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of the motivation scale, you said you were at an 8 before, which was already pretty high on the scale.
Mm.
How do you feel now, having gone through that SMART goal worksheet?
Yeah, a 9 now because like there's like an actual way to do things now. And like since I already have like a mental idea of what to do, it's like,
Yeah.
easier, more
Great.
motivated.
Well, so you're saying that you're at a 9 for 9 on confidence, 9 on
Mm-hmm.
motivation. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what sort of um actually don't worry. Sorry. Um,
Oh, good, oh, good, oh, good.
okay. So I would like to wrap up this session now, I guess, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
sort of like to skim over what you've told me in today's session. So, you had troubles sleeping early. You're
Mm-hmm.
often sleeping late, and it was
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Mm-hmm.
getting in the way of your productivity in during the day, impeding with sort of like the quality of work or schoolwork that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you were often kind of feeling grumpy and tired, which is natural, obviously, with having um, reduced amounts of sleep. But
Mm-hmm.
from that, we worked through our SMART goal, and you've said that you're going to reduce your screen time from 1.5 hours to an hour. You're going to do
Mm-hmm.
this by setting an alarm, which will tell you when to get off the screen usage. And you're going to
Mm-hmm.
do this for 3 weeks. And at the end of the 3 weeks, you're going to review this and sort of determine whether or not you're happy with it and you'd like to keep maintaining it, or if you would like to keep reducing that screen time if you feel as though you're still not getting the sleep that you require. Does that sound accurate?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds good.
Well, okay, well, that sort of brings our session to an end. Obviously, your first session. I'm really excited to hear how you progress throughout the next few days with this SMART goal. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm keen to hear how you're going in our next session.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank
No
you for your
worries.
time.
Thank you.